Hi guys. Hello. Hey Lily. From New York City. You're so close. Hey Mr. with the corgi. From the UK. What is it, like 4 or 5 in the morning there now? Okay, Lily, I think I just accepted you. I think I accepted. I'm doing it again. It says you are unable to join. Oh, Dad's home. He'll be back in a second. There we go.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. I like
Kylie's been
your.
talking nonstop for like the last hour. I think that she's just really excited.
Oh, good. Oh my gosh, I'm happy that we're finally here. This has been in the works for a while.
This is the truth. I brought our festive ice cream cone for the occasion.
Oh my goodness. Well, I was gonna say I like your setup. You look very cozy. You look very festive. So I like it.
And he's back. Oh, and
Oh.
he's gone. Lee just came home from the firehouse, so he had to go say hello. Hey, come back here.
Makes sense.
Look, your bed's open. Sit. Settle. Look, I got some doggy treats for you. Settle. He's like, let me see if these are good enough. They're not for cats, but sure, you can have one too.
The whole gang's like, if Bastion's
I,
getting something, I get something.
Kylie, at this point, she used to be very picky and wouldn't eat anything, and now she doesn't care. She's literally eating anything and everything, including dog treats.
That's a good way to go through life, you know?
I feel like at 16 years old, I'm not going to stop her. She can eat whatever she wants.
Well, thank you for inviting me to hang out with you guys tonight.
Thank you for joining us. I feel like there's so many people that didn't even realize what you're doing and all of the incredible stories and that you have to tell about other animals. And so I'm really excited that you're going to be able to do readings just for a new population of people that may have never seen you do that before.
Me
So
too. I'm excited too because I'm really passionate about all different types of animal communication, and what I do engages with the spiritual and like sometimes the otherworldly, but what you do with Bastion is all science based, and I really believe that when we're trying to understand our animals, we need to bring in as many different methods as possible. And so to get to share this with people who might be more interested in the science and have never even heard of what I do before is really exciting to me. So
well, thank you. And for those of you that don't know Lily, I actually found Lily on TikTok. I think that you popped up on my For You page one day, and I was like, this is so cool. I've like every once in a while had like a twinge of like psychicness, nothing exciting that I'm going to set up shop on the corner and do my own business, but enough that it's validated any kind of a belief that I have in the afterlife and that our souls go on and anything like that. And so it was really exciting when I saw Lily's book was open and she was available for booking. So I booked our own appointment, and Lily gave me some background information on Hallie and Kylie, who both had some pretty traumatic backgrounds, despite the fact that I got them at a very young age. And so it was very enlightening and helpful for me to figure out how to help them going forward, knowing that information. And since then, I've joined Lily in a bunch of lives, and she always has like these really profound messages for people and their animals. So it's just very exciting to see, you know, you in action.
thank you. I appreciate your testimony too. I remember when our first time working together one-on-one, and like I hadn't even realized I was in this point of like expansion with my practice, and like so much was happening in my life And then I just like pulled up Zoom and saw that it was Bastian, who I'd been following for a couple of months. And I was like, oh my gosh, I already know you. I already know who you are.
Well, because I wanted to hear from the cats. It wasn't about like Bastion's like pretty resilient. He's pretty good. Honestly, there are no real behavior problems with him other than like he's very opinionated. But both the cats had pretty significant behavior issues. Just Kylie, we always had the equivalent of kitty Down syndrome or kitty autism. She just always had a lot of neurological issues growing up, sensory issues, other things, and Kylie still has a lot of behavioral issues as far as litter box and social emotional things. So, you know, Ashton, we were never concerned about, but it was very enlightening to hear about why Hallie and Kylie may have had some problems.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. It's funny, just now as you were talking about, you said Bastian doesn't have any behavioral problems. He's opinionated. Bastian came through and he's like, that's not a behavioral problem. Don't worry, Lily.
No, it's not. He probably thinks I'm the one with the behavior problem.
Look at him, look at you. He's like, I'm not going to say anything about that. Well, I would love to give some readings tonight. The way that I usually do them is through the like question box, although I don't think I have access to that since this is like a joint live. So maybe we could just have people comment if that works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and just introduce the way I give readings if you're ready for that.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, the way that I do live mini readings is I have people comment their animal's name, species, gender, and then whether they're living or in spirit. That just helps me connect to their energy a little bit faster since there are bunches of people and bunches of animals around. Because it's the holiday season, I was thinking we could sort of focus on holiday messages, maybe ask some animals what they want as a holiday gift, or if anyone has things they want to communicate to their pets about holiday travels or plans, or if you're going to have more people in the house than normal. I can also give little tips and tricks for people that don't receive mini readings tonight. So that's kind of the way that I work. Abby is here moderating, and so if anyone has any questions about how the mini readings are going to work and you don't want to interrupt a reading, then Abby's here. Abby, if you want to comment and just let people know that you're around, maybe that's a good idea. So anyway, that's the way that I am gonna roll tonight. And if you guys have specific questions for your pets, you can leave them too. Really what I do is just scroll through the comments and pick out the one that pops out to me. Typically when there's a bunch of comments, if things can get a little bit chaotic, so bear with me. But I'm going to do the best that I can tonight. So that's sort of my spiel. If anyone has any questions before we get started, we can do that. And if Joelle, if you have any questions for Bastian before we dive into the group readings, we can do that too.
What does Bastian want for Christmas?
Bastian, let me tap in a little bit deeper. So there's a couple of things coming through right away. He's actually a little bit warm right now. I know he's got his festive sweater on, and I don't want to be the one to make him go naked, but he said he's a little bit toasty right now. And then for Christmas, anything he can eat is a good gift, especially things that are savory more so than sweet. So like any sort of salty, meaty treats is what he would like for Christmas. He says he already got his Hanukkah presents too. Look, now he's all naked on live.
This is so embarrassing.
Look at him, look at you. He looks like your child. Because he is.
I know, you're embarrassed, aren't you?
All right, well, I guess I'll just go ahead and scroll through the comments and see who pops out at me. All right. Wilbur, I'm going to start with Wilbur, dog, male, living. What does he want for Christmas? Please ask him to not bark like crazy on Christmas Day. He's been barking nonstop evenings. Okay, let me tap into Wilbur. Okay, so there's a couple things coming through for Wilbur that are like a little bit unrelated to the Christmas thing. Um, One, he feels like the anxiety of the people in the house has been a little bit like increased in the last couple of weeks, and I think that's contributing to the barking situation. And so he's just asking you guys, the humans, to be really mindful of how you guys are feeling and the way that you guys are sort of showing up, especially around evening time. I don't know if that's like a typically charged time for you guys, but he's showing me like the sun setting and you guys feeling like just like on edge a little bit. And like unsettled, I guess is the word he's using. So I think that's contributing to the barking, but I will ask him to keep it together on Christmas Day as best he can. Although I don't even think he understands what Christmas is. I just sent that to him and he was like, "What's Christmas?" So maybe also, is this Wilbur's first Christmas? Because that would make sense if it is. I think he's a little bit unclear on the what that means. So maybe explain that to him too, or I'll do my best now, but I would in the next couple of days explain to him to be extra well behaved on Christmas. Okay, and then I'm just gonna ask him what he wants for Christmas. Yeah, he's also not quite understanding the question. I think he just doesn't understand what Christmas is, so I'm just gonna ask him what he wants as a gift. Any sort of outside time that you can do with him is what he would like. Like time, he wants quality time with you guys, but outside. I think he's feeling a little, what's the word? Like caged in. I think especially because it's winter, you know, it's probably cold where you guys live. And he's been spending a lot of time indoors. So any sort of outside time with him would be what he wants for Christmas. So that's what I got from Mr. Wilbur. Okay. Bastian, what do you think about that? I don't know. I can't see the comments moving. I don't know if if it's just like a quiet night and no one's commenting, but
No, there's so many comments popping up. Can you not see them,
okay.
my friends?
I can't see them, yeah.
That's concerning. I can like read a bunch to you. I don't I don't know what's the best way to do it.
Maybe do you think it'll be too disruptive if I exit out and then come back?
I don't know. Let's try it.
Let's try it. All right, I'm just gonna bounce out really quick and then like request to join again.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want anyone to miss out on anything. Okay, so Lily will be back in a second. We'll try that again. I hope you guys all get readings. No, don't do the answer box just because Lily doesn't have access to that. Oh, it is Wilbur's first Christmas. He just turned 1. Okay, I think I just accepted Lily again. Let's see if this fixes anything. Okay, how's that working?
Now I can see them. I was like, maybe everyone's just stunned by how incredible that reading was.
That was just the most amazing reading. No one else has anything else that they want to hear from. That was it. So I don't know if you saw, but it is Wilbur's first Christmas.
Oh, that's what I thought, because he has no idea what's happening with this holiday. He's very unclear about everything. So yeah, I think Wilbur's human. I think if you're wanting him to be well behaved on the actual Christmas day, I would explain to him like this is an important day. You know, if you've got family and stuff, people coming in, I would explain that to him. Yes, we are anxious in there. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Makes sense. Okay. Holly, dog, female. What would she like for Christmas? She's already trying to open the presents under the tree. Holly, let me tap in. I also love that Holly's name is very holly jolly. Miss Holly, what do you want for Christmas? Hang on, I'm just trying to figure out what she's. Oh, like a heated blanket? Like she says a warm blanket. So if you can't do a heated blanket, then maybe get one of those like um microwavable like pads or something that she could lay on because she wants something to lay on that's very warm. Especially she says there's a part of the house where you guys hang out a lot that has, I don't know if it's tile or like the floor is cold, but her little feet are getting cold. So yeah, something warm that she can lay on and walk on is what she would like for Christmas. That's a good gift idea. The comments are still a little bit laggy for me, but at least now they're moving. If anyone's like, this girl is staring into space, I'm just trying to keep up with the comments. Someone says, will this be saved and be able to watch back? I think so. I think we'll be able to save it.
At the very least, I'll be able to save it and post it.
Murphy, male dog. What gift would he be most happiest with? Murphy, Murphy, Murphy. Murphy. He wants something small that he can hold in his mouth that he's showing me like a 4-pack. So I don't know if you've like gotten these for him before and this is what he's recalling or this is just the image he's conjured in his mind, but he's showing me like a pack of like 4 small little like plastic toys that he can carry in his mouth. So that's what he wants for Christmas. Is there trouble in paradise up there?
Yeah, a little bit.
Henry, male dog, loves Christmas and unwrapping his presents. What does he want? Henry, Henry, Henry. Henry really just wants everyone to be together for Christmas. That's all he wants. He doesn't want anything physical. I mean, food is always good, he says. Like, yeah, food. Now he's showing me also like soft things that he can step on or walk on is always nice. But more than anything, he just wants people together. And he also wants you guys to not be worried this year. I don't know if you've been going through a period of like anxiety or worry, but he is asking for Christmas Day that you guys like just be really happy and be really present because he feels like you guys have been a little bit, it's been difficult for you guys to be at peace lately, and so he wants you guys to find peace. Now my comments are frozen again. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to see if I can pull it up on my other screen to see if I can at least read the comments.
I was just going to say, maybe you can like join yourself on another screen if that happens. If not, if I can read you comments too.
Oh, this is weird. I'm like watching myself. Okay, now I can see the comments. That's good though, I can see them. Okay. There's a lot, we've got a lot of moving parts here. Someone says you have to scroll up. What's he calling me?
He did a back paw step on platypus. I mean, maybe it wasn't an accident. I don't know.
Okay. Let me just figure out. We got this double screen situation. Someone says he wants freeze treat. The fact that your followers have like their own language that Bastion has created just like makes me laugh so hard. Like, that's so awesome. Bastion's like creating his own his own like language and his
Doggies.
own. Yeah. Okay, I think on my other screen the comments are finally caught up. There we go. Kylie, look at her.
She's reclaimed the throne.
All right, Freya, female dog, Pyrenees mix. What does she want for Christmas? Freya. Then I think I'll have to ask Kylie what she wants to talk about. Freya. Freya wants something that she can like chase. So I don't know. I almost wonder if you should go to like a cat toy, like one of those moving cat toys. I have had a couple dogs this year ask for like small animals that they can eat. Obviously I don't condone that. So the sort of like compromise I've come up with is I know they make cat toys that they're like battery powered that you will like move around. And so that's what I'm telling people their dogs want when their dogs say that they want murder for Christmas. So I would get Freya something that either moves on its own or something that she can chase that's furry and looks like a small animal. So yeah, that's what I feel from Freya. I feel like she's very sweet and kind. Like in her mind, I don't even think she's necessarily asking for a live animal, but she does want something to chase. Get the battery floppy fish.
That's what I was thinking too. I keep seeing ads for that.
Yeah. Okay, let me see if Kylie has anything to say because she popped up here. Kylie, do you have anything you need to share with the group? Well, she says that she doesn't really like Christmas.
What?
And that she thinks it's like, I don't know. Oh, so I remember you guys celebrate Hanukkah and Christmas, right?
We do, yeah.
Do you guys celebrate like another holiday or another like event during December?
We celebrate my grandfather's birthday on the 23rd every year.
Okay.
Even though he's gone a long time now.
Yeah.
But we throw we go out to dinner. It's a big thing. It's like an extension of the holiday.
She says that there's just too much happening in December, and she thinks that we should pick one thing. She's kind of a Scrooge. Let me ask her if she wants anything for Christmas. She wants everyone to be really quiet for Christmas. No, she says no. She doesn't like when the family laughs really loud. She doesn't like that. So if you guys are laughing, to be really quiet. And no loud music. So basically she wants you to have the least amount of fun possible. Just like take all the fun and like make it as quiet and unnoticeable as possible. That's what she wants for Christmas.
Look at her sitting there with her eyes half closed. Like, yes, that's exactly what I want. Like Garfield reincarnated. You want lasagna also? She's probably gonna go back to Abu Dhabi.
She's like, maybe. That's what she said. Someone, Wilbur says, she really said Silent Night. She's kind of a Scrooge. I mean, we've all got our things.
I'm surprised to hear that.
Christmas plus Hanukkah plus big memorial celebration is a lot, so it's fair.
All right, one last question. Does she want to come up to the cabin for the Christmas break? Because I was
Oh,
planning
she would for sure rather be with you guys than alone. She's like, as soon as you started asking the question, she was like, wait. I don't want them to think that means I don't want to be with them. So she'd rather be with you than she'd rather be with you and have to endure laughter and music than alone without you.
Oh, well, I was going to. She would have had to stay home with Lee, and while Lee's working, or I'd take her up to the cabin with me. But it's a 3-hour car ride each way.
Yeah, she still says cabin.
Okay.
Yeah, she doesn't like it's I feel like she's the sort of like she doesn't want to miss the action. It's not her favorite, but she doesn't want to be like the party pooper that's not there. You know what I mean? Like she wants to complain about it. She's like that person you invite to a wedding who just like complains about it the whole time, but like they'd be offended if they weren't invited, you know?
That's got FOMO.
Exactly. It happens to the best of us.
I
don't know.
Butter.
Maybe for like an hour on Christmas, you guys have like silent time to give Kylie her present, and just play instrumental Silent Night on a loop.
Aww.
Let me see if she has anything else. The other thing she wants to talk about, and I don't know if you've been feeling this way. It's interesting because I like just posted about this. She's talking about like cyclical grief and how she feels like this time can bring up a lot of emotions for the people in the household. And so she just wants to acknowledge that and say that like I almost feel like part of her beef with Christmas being loud and whatever, there's a lot of laughter, a lot of noise. Part of that is she's like, okay, it's good to celebrate, but also can we acknowledge that there's some very real feelings happening underneath this? And so she's kind of inviting you guys to make sure you're holding space for yourselves and acknowledging like if underneath all of that there is a part of you that's like, oh, but I wish this person was here who can't be here, or this animal, or whatever it is, just to acknowledge that. And she doesn't say like there's nothing she wants you to do, but just to acknowledge it. And I don't know, there might be some people in the house who kind of I don't know, maybe aren't always honest with themselves about how they feel, and she feels it because she's so sensitive. She feels everything. I mean, there's nothing you guys can go through that she's not going to feel. Same with Bastion, but I mean, she's really, really sensitive. And so she's inviting you guys to tap into that and to take time. Like if part of you is sad and you need to like not be around people for 20 minutes or whatever, to just to dive into those feelings. That's her invitation to you. Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. As soon as she was being a Scrooge, I was like, I think there's something a little bit more to this.
What's the first holiday without Hallie too?
Yeah. And all those like you think about, oh, remember when they were here and what would they think about this? And yeah, it brings up a lot. She also says that Bastion smells bad.
She manages to squeeze that in every single time we have a reading. Get it, Kylie.
I'm sure he smells wonderful. I think just to her, it's like a cat, you know? It's like, ooh, I don't like the way that doggy dog smells. Okay.
She had a reading. She's good. She left.
Isn't it amazing? Like, and people, like, I understand, you know, the animal communication, it's a lot to take in, but sometimes stuff like that happens where the animal comes in, we address them, and then they're like, okay, that was good.
Yeah. All right, I'm good.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night, everyone. Okay. Let me just scroll through here. She said, no more psychoanalysis. It's fair. I'm just scrolling through. I might have to take a moment to take a little rest because I'm not having anyone come through really strong. Talia, female dog, what's her favorite way to celebrate Christmas? Definitely by eating. Any sort of special food or treats you can give her on Christmas, that's her favorite way. Especially she's sending me like something that's really moist. I don't know if you guys, maybe it's like a food topper, or she sent like the sensation of moist food in her mouth. She really likes that. So I don't know, gravy. It's probably not good for dogs. Anything you can do to make it more hydrated. She likes that. All right, I think I'm gonna take like a 5-minute break because there's a lot of energy coming through and I need my brain needs to chill out for a minute. What did you get Bastion for Christmas? Or do you not want to say in front of him?
Well, I don't want to say because Lee's on and Lee doesn't know.
Okay.
So, we
okay.
did buy him a pair of rec specs for hiking and for boating because we do have a cute pair of sunglasses, but they don't stay on that well, so they're a little bit more professional. And we got him 1 or 2 outfits.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait to see.
Yeah.
Bastion is definitely one of the best dressed animals on social media.
He's a good sport. He likes us wearing clothes for the most part, or at least it seems that way.
Well, even as you were talking, he was like, and I said he's one of the best dressed dogs. He was like, yeah, I know, and I'm proud of it. So. Yeah.
With the mohawk.
All right, guys, I'm taking like a really brief break from readings just while I ground myself. So if you guys have any questions about animal communication or any like general animal questions, you can feel free to ask them now while I just chill out for a moment.
Just gonna blow out a candle.
He feels beautiful with clothes. Yeah, he does. Sometimes, like having a good outfit, it's like a game changer with how you feel. What do dogs' size mean? It depends who you ask about this. I really believe that they are a form of communication, just like with humans. For the most part, of course, there are times, just like with humans, where it's just a release. But I really do believe that they are intentional forms of communication for the most part. Other people would say that they are either stress or calming signals, depending on the context of the behavior. I think it depends. I think it depends on, it's like any sort of communication. I think it depends. But I do think, there's times where we're talking about our dogs or a situation or whatever, and then they let out a big sigh, and it's like, yeah, I know. I really believe those times are true communication. Just like with humans, sometimes you just sigh just because it feels good, and other times you're trying to make your point clear. Bluebird Betty says, how can we send out animals that have passed messages? That's a really good question. Animal communication, it's a lot easier to send out messages than people think. Our animals in spirit, if you want to connect with them, all you have to do is call them in by either saying their name, picturing them in your mind, holding an object that used to belong to them. Literally, just thinking their name in your mind will call them forward, because without getting into like a whole lesson about energy, when you call in like energy, it's sort of attracted to you. So it's really easy to connect with animals in spirit if you want to feel close with them. And then the second part of it is just trusting that they're there. That's probably the harder part. It's easy to get them to come forward. It's harder to trust yourself that they hear you and that they're with you. So my recommendation to people who are struggling with that trust and maybe are a little bit skeptical is to ask your animal for a sign. And you can do something really specific. You can say, I'm going to call forward my childhood dog. Will you send me a purple flower that's upside down? And just wait and see. Maybe wait 24 hours, 48 hours and see what comes up. But You'll get something. You'll get some, maybe it's in a cartoon, maybe it's an advertisement, maybe it just drops right out down at your feet, the symbol that you were looking for. But I think asking for a sign in a really physical way is helpful for people who are struggling with trust and really believing that their animals hear them. But it's super easy to call them forward. Just say their name, hold a picture of them. I like to hold something that belonged to them because I think having the physical item that might smell like them or have their hair on it, or maybe even some pee of theirs. It sounds gross, but when you're trying to connect and you just want to feel close to them, that is something I think that really helps. So yeah, it's very easy to call them forward. It's harder to trust what's coming through.
There's so many good questions here.
I know. I love when people are just curious. Do animals and people have a stronger nonverbal communication with each other than humans? And is that why it's easier to understand one another sometimes? I just love everything about that question. Let me think. What do I think? I do think humans and animals have a stronger nonverbal communication, just in general. I think with humans, 70% of communication is nonverbal, which is most of communication. But with animals, we spend, especially if they live in your house and they're domesticated, we spend so much time with them. A lot of their time is spent trying to figure out us, just as a lot of our time is spent trying to figure them out. And I think that as time goes on, you do build a really, really profound nonverbal communication repertoire. Anyone who's had a dog for 10 years and just sort of knows just by the look on their dog's face, and vice versa, your dog might know that you had a bad day just when you walk in the door. I really do believe that that's both parties mutually investing in a nonverbal repertoire. As far as is that why it makes communication easier with animals sometimes? I think it depends on who you ask. I don't know. I think communicating with language and communicating non-verbally, they present different strengths and weaknesses, is what I'll say. And I'm sure even, with Bastian, who uses words, that presents its own unique strengths and challenges too. Just like how animal communication has limitations and its own strengths. So I think it depends who you ask. I think communicating with animals is easier, but that's just me. They're straightforward, what you see is what you get, whereas sometimes with humans it's a little bit trickier. Inside a Perfect Song says they know more about us than we know about ourselves, and I think that's true. Anytime my animal says something like, hey, you really need to tap into this emotion, or you need to address this, I'm like, what do you know? And then I think about it and I'm like, no, it's actually a really good idea. You guys know. Because they look at us with such a neutral, objective lens. We look at our lives and we're so critical, or we have a lot of ego wrapped up in the outcome of different things, and our animals just look at us with unconditional neutrality and unconditional acceptance. And when you get feedback from that, that's really profound feedback. That's why animal communication is amazing. Do dogs like being kissed by us? Totally depends on the dog. I'd say the majority are actually not a fan. They don't really like having our faces in their faces. But I will say it depends on the dog, and I've met other dogs who absolutely love it. But I do think the majority would rather we show affection in a less intense way. These are all such interesting questions. Mr. Wilbur the Corgi says, I trust my dog more than I trust most people.
I'm not sure I could say the same thing. Just kidding.
I would trust Bastian with some things, not all things.
I wouldn't want to be on a desert island with him and a ration of food. That's for
yeah. Bastion mad. Okay, let's do one more. Oh, this is Elise says, I 100% believe sighing can be intentional. Each night I would let out a big sigh before falling asleep in bed, and my dog Thea would let out a big sigh right after and settle into his bed. That's awesome. Do dogs understand when you're eating something that they can't have that's bad for them? So this also depends on the dog. It depends a lot on their age. Like I would say anyone under like 18 months probably has no concept of what's good and bad for them yet. Um, and then they're sort of like, I don't want to call it maturity, but I'd say understanding of the human world expands from around like 18 months, 2 years. So I'd say like the older, the more likely it is that they actually understand that that's not, that eating it will have an unsavory outcome. It also just depends on their experience level. I know with some dogs who have had like very, very lovely, comfortable lives, they don't always believe when we say, oh, this is bad for you, because they've never experienced anything other than absolute love and adoration. So sometimes they can struggle with comprehending that, whereas dogs who've had more experiences sort of understand that there's the life is not always sunshine and rainbows. So I think it depends. Depends. Then I also know dogs who've had like their stomachs pumped like 3 times and will still eat Halloween candy if it's sitting out. So I think it depends. I would say it depends on their experience, their age, how food motivated they are too, right? Because for some dogs, it's almost like a primal instinct that's like flipped off in them when they want to eat something. It's an interesting question. Okay, let me do a few more mini readings now that my brain is like decompressed. Someone just says same LOL about a primal instinct being turned on with food.
You've had enough drinks.
Can you explain what dirty is to a dog when they need a bath? Yeah, but most dogs don't care. They don't, if they don't want to be wet, then they don't care. They would rather, have potentially itchy skin or whatever than get a bath. Nova and Willow, female dogs. Nova and Willow. Let me tap into them. Except I never remember who's who with Nova and Willow. Okay, I'm gonna start with Miss Nova. Okay, so I mean, it's in relation to like your holiday plans. I don't know if you guys have been like hella stressed out lately, but Nova's stressed. Nova's like, oh my goodness, like this like holiday season needs to be over. So I don't know if you had like stress around planning the holiday or what her care is going to be over the holiday, but I would just anything you guys can do to like settle yourself, relax yourself, I think would feel really, really good to her. I think it's stress in relation to her care. I think that's what she's talking about more than anything. So I don't know if her routine has been changed up or what the deal is, but she's definitely feeling like the heaviness of this time. Let me ask her if she has anything that she really wants for Christmas. She says that she wants a new food and water bowl because hers are ugly. Literally, she used the word ugly. I'm sure that they're beautiful. I don't know what the deal is, but she used the word ugly to describe them. We are all at my parents' house. Makes sense. It's crazy. Okay. Okay, so that's what Nova wants. Let me see what Willow has to say. Oh, Willow wants her human to be, Willow wants happiness for her human. That's what she says she wants for Christmas. That's really sweet. So that's what she wants for Christmas. Anything that will make you happy, that's what Willow wants for Christmas. She just wants you to feel happy and comfortable. That's the word she used was comfortable, so I don't know if there's like, I don't know what that means. I'll leave that with you, but yeah, she just wants happiness for you. I also feel a little bit of stress with Willow. I'm sure that's just like everyone being at the same house, but she seems to be handling it better. Nova was like stressed. She was stressy messy when I tapped into her, which is okay, you know? Holiday season, it gets the best of us. Oh, all these comments are so sweet. Everyone's like, we don't deserve dogs. Yeah, I don't know. Dogs are... There's nothing like the love of a dog, you know?
Come back, I'll open another day in the advent calendar for you. Oh, look.
Does Chicky know what she wants for Christmas? Chicky, female dog, Chicky. Chicky, Chicky, Chicky. You know what's really, really funny? We were just talking about, do dogs know if food is good or bad for them? And Chicky said she wants chocolate for Christmas. I'm going to interpret that as she saw you guys eating chocolate and was like, that looks good, and not that she's like suicidal. So I would get her for Christmas something that tastes really good, and I would go more the sweet option than savory. So, you know, like those dog cupcakes, dog frosted cookies, stuff like that. And I'm also just gonna send to her that she can't eat chocolate. It's not good for her. She has stolen chocolate before.
So she knows what it tastes like. She's got like a fine flavor for it.
It's the like, yeah, she's had just enough to like know that it tastes really good. That's awesome. Miranda says you can make dog chocolate bars. That might be something to look into. Oh my gosh, 3 times. Okay, so the way that I would describe Chicky is she's the kind of dog who, even though she's had experiences, I'm assuming that were unsavory with chocolate, like she's probably felt really, really crappy. The instinct to put as much as she can in her mouth, especially something sweet and something really rich like chocolate, is just stronger than the part of her that knows this will not end well for me if I do it. And so that's why, even with animal communication, even with behavior training, even with buttons, like no matter how you're communicating with your animal, you still at times need to protect them from their own instincts, because we domesticated them, we brought them into our lives, and there's just parts of our lives that are not suitable for them, like chocolate. So that's the way that I talk about things, like dogs that like chocolate, or even like dogs that really like garlic and onions, and we'll get into stuff like that. You kind of gotta protect them from themselves, just like children sometimes, like toddlers. Everyone says they can relate to chicken. That's funny. I'm just scrolling through the comments trying to see who's going to pop out at me next. I think I'm getting a little tired again, which is why not anyone's popping out. I feel like I have someone in spirit trying to come through. I just can't figure out who. Wilbur, Mr. Wilbur the Corgi is asking, what do dogs dream about? My dog had a nightmare before, but I don't know what about, as he's never experienced anything bad. They dream about the same things that humans do, so a lot of just like processing the day, normal brain garbage, stuff like that. But I've also had dogs who will talk about having the dream of all their teeth falling out, which I know a lot of humans have, and flying. So those are two dreams that, like, repeating dreams that I've seen with dogs and other animals too, like cats and horses, of all their teeth falling out and then also flying, which is interesting. Ooh, I think this is who is Connor, male horse in spirit. I just want to make sure this is the right horse. Connor, because I had someone in spirit trying to come through. Is this who Connor? I'm just gonna start, and then if this doesn't sound like Connor, you can tell me, because I think I'm just getting tired, and that's why I'm not so sure, but I do think it's a horse. Okay. So let me just bring Connor into this conversation. Okay, so Connor just wants you to know that he's really proud of you, and he's been watching over your, like, development as a human. It's really important to him that you know he thinks you're so beautiful. He feels like you've been really critical of your outward appearance, and he wants you to know he thinks you're really beautiful, even when you're like, you're like with your animals and you feel gross and you're like wearing all these layers to stay warm. That's something he's talking about too, like maybe a little bit of like when you're putting on layers to stay warm, it like messes with your self-perception, and he just wants you to know that no matter how you feel about yourself, he thinks you're so beautiful, and he says you've like gotten more beautiful. So I don't know what this is about your sense of self-perception, but Connor thinks you look amazing. And he also thinks that when you're with your animals, that's when like you glow and you shine the most. And so he just wants you to know, if you're like leaving the house and feeling really sad or bad about the way you look, just know Connor's with you, like telling you that you look so amazing. Let me see if there's anything else from him. He just wants you to know that he's at peace, and he says that he's been sending you really, really like physical, tangible signs, and he feels like you miss them, or you're a little bit like you doubt that they're from him. He says he's been like knocking stuff over and like pushing you, and so if you ever like walking and like lose your balance, that he says that's him. If you're ever like things start like crashing down around you, like very physically, he says that's him. And so he's inviting you to not doubt the signs as much, because he feels like you're doubting yourself a little bit when it comes to receiving his messages and really feeling close to him. Oh, and he also says that when you lay in your bed at night, he's been laying next to you in spirit, and he's really loving that now that he's in spirit, he's not hurting you when he like lays on you. And so he wants you to visualize, like he's literally showing him being like the big spoon, and you're like laying between his huge legs, and he says that he's really been enjoying that he's not hurting you, and he gets to have this closeness with you now that he's in spirit. And so he wants you to, like, when you're laying in bed at night, to visualize him, because he says he's been with you. Oh, and also I don't know if there was like things you guys didn't get to do as far as riding that you wanted to do with him, but he wants you to visualize yourself riding him and know that now that he's in spirit, he can do all the things that you wanted to do with him, or that he couldn't do at the end of his life. I'm not sure, but something about like having goals for him as far as riding and not being able to complete them. And he says that now that he's in spirit, he's doing all the things that you wanted for him. And so he wants you to visualize yourself doing them with him, especially right before you go to sleep. That's what he wants you to think about before you go to sleep, is like you on his back and like doing all these like, he's showing me him like walking up mountains. Like he's really enjoying getting to have a body that's capable of doing all this fun activity. So that's what he wants you to visualize before you go to sleep, and know that he's with you and he loves you and he's okay. Anna says he passed young and we had tons of show plans and never got to accomplish. Yeah. Oh, so he wants you to visualize you guys like doing all the things that he didn't get to accomplish in life. He loves you. He thinks you're really good looking. So I don't know what's going on with your sense of self-image right now, but he thinks you're really beautiful. So he wants you to remember that. So that's what I feel from Mr. Connor. Oh man. We only have a couple of minutes left. I'm getting like super dizzy. Let me just see if anyone's gonna pop out really quick here at the end. Oh, you're welcome, Anna. Thank you for sharing Connor with us. I'm sorry for your loss. I don't know whether to smile or cry or both. Do both. Feel all the feels. Do dogs/animals understand when we have to work? I feel bad when I work during the day. Oh. Yes, they do understand. They might not like it, but they do understand. Yeah. Dogs actually, I've had recently a lot of experiences with dogs who were really had like a very strong sense of money and like understood like they were talking about like opening a checking account and all this stuff. And so I think animals understand money a lot more than we do, especially if we talk about it in front of them. I had a reading with someone and the dog was talking about like how he wanted to open a checking account, and I was like, how do you even know what that is? Like, so interesting. I think my brain is fried right now, so I'm not gonna try to do any more little readings. But if you guys liked this and you want your own private reading, then you should feel free to check out my website. The link is in my bio of my page. And you can either follow me here on Instagram or also on TikTok. I put different content out on both platforms and try to teach you guys how to connect with your animals as best you can when you're not doing your own either button training or behavior training or whatever methods you're already doing with your animals.
And make sure you follow Lilly, because she does do lives like this every so often on both TikTok and Instagram. So yeah, if you're lucky and you're following her, you might see her pop up and you can join. And, you know, if you weren't able to get a reading today, maybe you can get a mini reading in the future.
Thank you. Yeah, I try to switch off every week either on Instagram or TikTok to kind of get both groups of people, but I do lives like this once a week, giving little mini readings and checking in with everyone's animals. So
well, thank you so much, Lilly. This was awesome, and it was cool getting to see some other people that I know we interact with all the time get readings also.
Aw, well, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure. You know how much I care for Bastion and your whole family, so I really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.